Over to the AFC Championship game where the Bills and Chiefs are meeting for the third time. That's tied for most in AFC Championship game history. We got to hear from both Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen on what is now a playoff rivalry.
You just have to know you're going to have to play your best football. I've played against Josh enough times to know that he's going to come out there and play great football, especially in those big moments. And so for me, I have to play my best football whenever I get the opportunity to and try to put our team in the best position to succeed. And if that's limiting turnover, if that's changing the field position, whatever that is, you have to find a way that day to win. And when you go up against a great quarterback, it takes your best as well.
Again, they control the ball extremely well. They don't make bad decisions. Obviously, Patrick is one of the greatest to ever play the game. And they're one of the greatest teams to ever be assembled. Going for a three-peat, and that's what everybody wants to be in this league, is to have the sustained success that they've had. But again, they play great situational football. They understand when it's time to go and when it's time to kind of fend off someone. So, again, that's what we're aiming to be.
As it stands right now, the Chiefs favored by 1.5 at home. The over-under is 47.5. That is the over-under for both games, by the way. But, Matthew, we take a look at the DFS board. No surprise to see the high price for somebody like Josh Allen at the top.
Yeah, no surprise as well. But, he may have to go hero mode. I mean, I don't love it's weird that Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game is the lowest priced quarterback on the board at $6,000.
Nice
Jalen Hurts is $6,500. Daniels is $7,000, and of course Josh Allen $7,500. So getting Mahomes, going Superman mode here. They play fairly conservative, and they do control the clock. But I don't know. I don't want to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I like Dalton Kincaid just to go down the board a little bit. Just $3,600. No tight end. No team gave up more receiving yards to opposing tight ends than the Kansas City Chiefs. Dalton Schultz had a nice game against them last week for the Texans as well. So I do think Kincaid who didn't have a big game last week, and I know Dawson Knox gets in there as well, played about half the snaps, but I don't know. I think Kincaid is kind of interesting here against the Chiefs as if you're punting salary for $3,600.
Yep, I like that. I think this is going to be the game where Allen finally puts on the cape a little bit. His completions prop is only set at 20.5. That is pretty low. He had, in the matchup earlier in the season, he had 27 completions. In the playoff game last year, he had 26 completions against a really solid rushing defense in Kansas City as well. I just think Allen is going to have to do more. I understand they've leaned on James Cook to good success in the first two playoff games, but at the same time, this is it, Fowler. You can't lose to the Chiefs again.
You got to have this one.
Yeah, and if you look at sort of Josh Allen's career against Steve Spagnuolo, he's had a bunch of good games. They've lost some heartbreakers obviously in the playoffs, but it's never been wow, Josh Allen had a bad game.
Allen was magnificent in the playoffs last year in that matchup. He did everything humanly possible to win that. He got screwed by Diggs, dropped a 60-yarder. Sherfield had 2 drops as well. They really should have won that game.
Yes.
And Allen was against the better Chiefs defense last year.
Right, and you think about I think it was the Gabe Davis game where he had 4 touchdowns, but somehow the Chiefs scored within 13 seconds. That should have won that game, right? And Allen was magnificent once again in that game. So I agree with you. I do think this is a Superman game. He's had 3 career playoff games against Kansas City, and he's averaging over 31 fantasy points per game against Spagnuolo. He's had at least 26 fantasy points in every single game. So I agree with you. I do think if you're going to pay up at the quarterback position, Josh Allen is probably worth it at $7,500. And I do think because of his price, maybe people will shy away from him somewhat.
Lawrence, what about his number 1 wide receiver, Khalil Shakir? They got Amari Cooper, and everybody thought he would be the guy getting all the targets, but Shakir's been so much better this year.
Yeah, Amari Cooper out there getting that cold cardio. Khalil Shakir, on the other hand, 12 straight games with at least 6 targets. Chiefs not as good versus the slot here. So when and if Josh out, even last game, he was looking for Khalil Shakir in the short area to have him make plays. That's what that's what's valuable in fantasy as a guy like Shakir. So he's definitely worth a value there.
When you think about the Bills, who've sort of played this wide receiver by committee, where it's Keon Coleman, it's Amari Cooper, it's
Curtis Samuel.
It's Curtis Samuel, it's Mac Hollins. All these guys sort of getting looks. But the one consistent throughout the year has been Shakir. He's always gotten, to your point, he's gotten like 5 or 6, 7 targets a game, and everyone that's the one guy that you feel best about in this passing offense. So if we're sitting here saying, hey, Josh Allen's putting on the Superman cape, and he's going to have to do it all against the Chiefs, Shakir would be somebody that would benefit a lot.
Do you have a theory, Connor, on what's happened to Amari Cooper? Because he's shown, I mean, they traded for him, and the idea was that he was going to be the number 1 wide receiver. He had that game against the Rams where he had 90 receiving yards and 14 targets. But I mean, he said it's 16.5 receiving yards. It's 2 yards higher than Mac Hollins.
He's not involved. I don't know if they haven't been able to form consistent chemistry, if they're not making him a part of the offense.
Maybe he's not 100%
Maybe he's not healthy.
Right?
Maybe he's
I
not
mean,
healthy.
he's a guy that's been banged up throughout his career, and so maybe they're just,
Other side of 30 now as well. Like maybe it's just.
Well, it's Cole. He don't do
Thanks
the
for
Cole
looking
game.
right at
He don't
me.
do them
You said
Cole
I'm
games.
other
You're
side
the
of
oldest
30.
man at the table.
Yeah.
You're right, Lawrence. He's
You're the closest one to
notoriously.
Amari
He's notoriously a
Because
poor
remember when he was with
weather
Dallas,
performer.
Yes.
and he would go to Philly, it'd be like cold Amari Cooper day,
Yeah,
and
You just fade him every
zeros.
time.
Yeah, I actually would say this. You guys said a Superman Josh Allen game. I think they should keep on leaning with that run game. I think if you could, I think they could be effective running against the Chiefs, certainly more than they were against the Ravens. They've stuck with it, not only just the past 2 playoff games, but down the stretch. Cook had 2 100-yard games down the stretch of the regular season, and you just kind of want to neutralize that pass rush that sacked C.J. Stroud 8 times last game. So I think the Bills just gotta win the game, whatever it takes. Josh Allen, we gonna give him the same praise if they just win the game. It don't matter what his stats. Stats wasn't good versus the Ravens, but he didn't turn the ball over.
Just just try to force Patrick Mahomes out of bounds, but don't touch him. Don't tackle him.
Don't breathe near
Don't
him.
breathe it on him because it'd be awful. What's James Cook's rushing? I think it's 13.5 rush attempts, which I think is really low. To your point,
That is low.
Lawrence. I mean, against the Chiefs have a good run defense, but it's not as good as the Ravens.
as
And he
good as the
clearly
Ravens.
they've leaned on Cook in the last 2 playoff games. They're gonna do it again on the road at Arrowhead. I think they lean on Cook again. So I like the over on his rushing attempts prop, which the last
It's
I looked,
13.5.
it's 13.5.
Expect over. It's 57.5 rushing yards, 75.5 scrimmage yards. So expecting a more kind of traditional James
Maybe
Cook
a little,
type of game.
maybe a little more Ray Davis in there.
I don't know. I'd take the over.
I would take the over
rushing,
too. Though. He's
rushing
had
attempts.
23 and then 17 carries.
Yeah.
So it'd be weird to go way away from that.
Especially on the road at Arrowhead. The last thing they want to do is they're not going to want to play up tempo. They may have to if they get down, but
keep the ball
they're
away
going to
from
start
Mahomes.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can say I need the Bills in this game personally for a preseason Super Bowl ticket on the Bills. I feel like I'm going to get very upset at the first down James Cook runs for 3 yards. Just put the cape on, Josh. It's time. It's time. Bring me home, Josh.
I am. Listen, Bills. Commanders Super Bowl is what America
all for
wants.
it. Yes.
That's what
You get
America.
Super Bowl.
That is what America wants. It'll be a
yeah.
repeat of
Australia wants it badly.
everyone-
badly.
It'd be the
wants it.
second best Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Behind Chiefs Eagles.
No one wants to see Chiefs.
Yeah, I was saying, how come nobody want to see that?
I'm Monday when I was here. I was the only one fighting for it.
Okay,
No one-
I think it's the best
I'm
Super
with
Bowl.
you, dog.
No one wants to see the. Everyone's bored of the Chiefs, rightly or
I'm not
wrongly.
bored of the
No, I
Chiefs.
love watching the Chiefs.
Rightly or wrongly, like the over/under at a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl is gonna be like 42.5. Like that's gonna be like a grinded-out, ugly game. Like that's not gonna be fun. Like people like you're gonna be watching that game and like every 30 seconds like there's Taylor Swift, there's Donna Kelsey. Oh, there's Taylor Swift again. Look, there's Taylor Swift next to Donna Kelsey.
Yeah, I'm done
like
with
it's
that.
gonna be. No one wants to see like the Eagles Chiefs as great as those two teams are. America,
You don't want. You definitely don't want to see
don't
it.
want to.
No one wants to see it.
I don't want to.
Connor
but
just
I'm
doesn't like Damar Hamlin.
I just-
Bills Super Bowl preseason ticket, lifelong Commanders
you
fan.
see it.
Nobody wants to see Chiefs Eagles.
Tell me I'm wrong about
I
that.
just want to
I'm
see some good ball play, and we would get that
Josh
with the
Allen
Commanders
versus-
and the Bills.
You're telling me Josh Allen versus Jane Daniels isn't a fun match?
It would
great.
be fun as
great.
hell.
It's
It
number
would be
2.
fun. I think any combo of these teams would be fun. I'll be just as happy, but I'm not like hating on the Chiefs or Eagles or nothing.
I'm kind of sick of the Chiefs.
The Chiefs have been 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Is it something like that, right?
They lost 1, so yeah, 3
checks
of the
out.
They've won 2 straight, but I think they've been in 5 of the last 6. I think
That's how you know they've been in a lot. We can't even remember.
Right, you kind of
the only
assume
one I
at
can
this
think of
point.
that they haven't been in was Bengals Rams.
Yeah, they
Right?
lost to the Bucks, and then they've won the
Right, and they were in with
So,
us,
yeah.
they were against the San Francisco 49ers in
Beat
the Miami
Niners,
Super Bowl.
beat
beat the
Eagles.
Eagles, beat the Niners twice. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 of the last 5.
4 of the last 5. Okay.
4 of the last
See?
5. Give me
me
something
5 out of
different.
6.
Their brilliance is amazing. They're awesome. You know what I mean? And by the way, if the Eagles beat the Commanders, I will root for whoever from the AFC. You know,
we can't have
give me Chiefs
Eagles.
over Eagles for a three-peat. Yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. Come on.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.